Bringing
Absolutely.
John Schneider. He is manager of the Toronto Blue Jays. There he is.
Wow.
Looking
What's up,
like a
guys?
guy who won a game 2-1 last night.
He got a haircut, too, it looks like.
He got a haircut,
He
too.
did.
Yeah,
It's all right. Hey, look, the easy question, softball question, but after being no hit, how good is it to win a dramatic game?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge, no hit, you hate having that happen. And, it was tough sledding against Framber too. He was dealing, his ball was moving all over the place, a lot of ground balls. It could have been easy to just say, okay, this is going to be a tough 2 games. And the guys kept going at it, huge swing from Schneid, obviously, big walk from JT to get to that point. But yeah, it is nice to kind of turn the page.
How nice is it to watch Berríos self-correct and make an adjustment in game? Glove side, John, wasn't very good, right? I mean, that's where he's sort of, when he's really good and filthy, it's doing things glove side. And not having whiffs on the slurve glove side is a big thing. And then he self-corrects and adjusts that and starts throwing more arm side. I don't think last year, or maybe last year he could have done that. Year after, probably not. This year, it just seems like it clicks. I don't think about it. I attack because something else not working. How nice is it to watch that?
Yeah, he's really in a good spot, when it comes to understanding what he's doing and who he is. You hit the nail on the head, Kev. He was trying to get the ball away, but those righties, obviously left one up to Altuve and just made an adjustment. Sinker was working, but it wasn't going where he wanted it. So he made the adjustment, got it in on those righties, worked the breaking ball off that. His changeup was good too, but he's, to watch him kind of evolve, the past year or so, like you mentioned, going back to 2022 to now, he's a really confident guy right now. It's a nice thing to have.
Yeah.
What do you think explains? It's got to be something more than just confidence, though, isn't it? With José Berríos, the fact that like Kevin and I talked about this, comparing even last spring, comparing where he was last spring to this spring. There's got to be something more than just confidence, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, having success, you're going to be confident in what you're doing. His delivery's in a really good spot, too. I think he was searching a little bit, going back to 22, but even to start the year or to start camp last year, kind of searching for it, and it's just landed in a really good spot. So his stuff speaks for itself, and he's, he knows that. And I think whenever it's like when you're hitting and you're messing with your mechanics, it's tough to go compete. And I think with Jose, his mechanics are in a good spot. He just goes out and does his thing.
Speaking of confidence, Jimmy Garcia last night with the 2 pop-outs and a punch-out. How confident are you bringing him into those spots? I don't think you would have been that maybe last year. I know end of last year it was up and down. Velocity was a little moody. Secondary pitches, he may abuse those instead of throwing fastballs. It's just speaking of confidence, like that's it, right? And then off season, I think he got a little stronger. Maintaining that velocity is a big deal. How much confidence you got in him?
Yeah, a lot. He's been quietly really, really good since he's been here. You look at the first half of last year, and it kind of took him a while to get going. But his stuff has always been there, and I think right now without Jordy and without Swanee, we're asking him and Chad to do, the heavy lifting at the back end and bringing him into big spots. And he's not scared of any situation, which is what I love about him. You know exactly who you're getting when he comes in, and he's going to have to hold the fort down for a little bit until those other guys get back. But yeah, man, have all the confidence in the world in him right now, and his stuff is in a great spot.
John, we know that Romano, Swanson, Manoah are working their way back. What are the chances we see the 2 relievers or one of the 2 relievers here in time for Monday's home opener? And what are the chances we might see Alec during this homestand? Or am I getting really ahead of myself there?
Maybe a little bit ahead of yourself with Alec. I think with Jordy and Swanee, they're making really good progress. And, they may arrive a little bit quicker, assuming everything goes well. And, you got to kind of take it day to day. Romano's bullpen yesterday was really encouraging, as was Swanee's the day before. So you got to listen to them. You got to, trust that what they're saying is true, and then watch their stuff. So I don't think they're going to need too much time once they do hit real games in the minor leagues. And, hopefully it is when we are home.
John, the 6 errors in 6 games, are you worried about that?
No. These guys, just looking at, yesterday's a catcher's interference. There's been some things that, kind of, a little bit careless. But no, man, these guys they work so hard at their defense, and I think that's what we pride ourselves in. And those things are going to happen. I think a couple happened in one game, you know what I mean? But I mean, the work they do every day, not worried about that. And early in the season, you see some things that you're probably not going to see over the course of the year as it unfolds on any side of the ball. So, not worried about that at all.
John, guys like Justin Turner. I mean, Justin Turner's pretty much come as advertised.
Yep.
I think people see where Vladdy is. They like where he is. But I've got to ask you, I know Kevin brought this up, guys like Kirk, Kiermaier, Varsho, again, it's a small sample size, but they're 5 for 50 combined with 16 strikeouts. I know people watching the game last night, I'm sitting there thinking a couple of times, okay, put the hit and run on now because nothing's happening at the bottom of the order. All the stuff people say, you got traffic on the bases, yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not going to ask you how concerned you are with where that aspect of the game is right now, but do we sometimes just assume that putting on a play, do we just assume that it's easier than it really is, right?
Sometimes, yeah. I like kind of forced action when things aren't going on. I thought Kev was going to take a bump with him in his first AB with a runner at first. And those are the discussions that we've had. Veteran guys that kind of understand where they are in the order, where they are with their swing. The hit and run. We put a hit and run on with Servin the other day when he was catching. There's times to do it. You can't kind of just throw stuff out there just because you don't have a hit in a couple innings. There's got to be a rhyme and a reason to it. But absolutely, it's probably easier to say do this or do that, whether to steal a base or not, all that kind of stuff. But you also have to realize it's 6 games in, and these guys, these guys have been doing it for a while. So you don't want to force things. There's certain guys that we're going to do it with, and I think everyone in the league knows who that is. And when the time is right, you go for it. But again, 6 games in, and these guys are still kind of getting their footing a little bit, and you don't want to do anything that's overly crazy at this point.
Yeah, John, Varsho is 2 for 17 with 6 Ks. Kiermaier is 1 for 15 with 6 Ks. Again, this is early in the season. They got, 15 at-bats and 17 at-bats. One good game will just sort of correct all that stuff, right, and make those stats look that much better. Do you see anything that will tell you mechanic-wise or, demeanor? A lot of that this time of the year, right, is how you're standing on the on-deck circle, confidence, those kind of things. Anything you're seeing that will tell you that those two guys are one game away from being sort of what you want them to be?
Yeah, I think you could say that about anyone at this point in the year, right? 15 and 17 ABs, really, really small sample size. We see the work that they do. It comes down to what pitches you're swinging at, If KK's swinging at good pitches, he's pretty damn good. If Arch is swinging at good pitches like he did the entire spring training, he's pretty damn good. And I think with that, you look at the results, okay, they are what they are. But pleased with the pitches that they're swinging at. Kev yesterday with the cutter to Framber, it's tough. There's been some tough pitching for sure. But the fact that Varsh is laying off pitches at the top of the zone is encouraging. And I think, over time, the pitches that he is offering at, he's going to connect with both of them.
John, I know that there was a play in the game last night. We actually didn't get to see the whole thing, but there was a play last night. I think Kyle Tucker went to second base on a pop foul that Alejandro Kirk caught the foul, but Tucker advanced to second on it. You talked about the catcher's interference. We were watching the game. I almost got the sense that the Astros thought they might have had a little something on Kirky the way they were pushing the envelope in the base pass. Now, it didn't work out. But, one of the talking points going into the year, obviously, was no Jano. Alejandro Kirk's going to have to really shoulder a pretty heavy burden. Any concern at all on your part that when we see things like that, it might come from workload? Or is that just, are we just picking at things?
No, I think you're picking at it, really. You look at what Kirky does between, his receiving numbers, the balls in the dirt he keeps in front of him. Catcher's interference is going to happen with Kyle Tucker, for one, with the way his bat is, with the way his swing goes to the zone. That play was weird to pop up. I think everyone kind of assumes time is going to be called, and Chad Fairchild did actually give it, but Tucker was halfway to second. So that was kind of a weird play, something that doesn't really happen. What I was excited about was, Altuve trying to steal home there with 2 outs and 2 strikes in the 8th and trying to catch Kirky napping. and Kirky being all over that, really. And then the throw in the ninth inning, although Myers falls down, probably Kirky's best over the year. So not worried about that at all. I think those are just a couple weird plays that have happened in the first week. But no, Kirky's in a good spot. I think he's so right here. He's not much excites that dude or gets him rattled. So I think that could be, seen as a negative sometimes. But he's in a good spot right now.
John, we talked about Berríos self-correcting, making in-game adjustments. Whenever I watch the lineup, now correct me if I'm wrong. So, he's talking about picking. Like, I think the lineup's good. It can be really good, right? The length of this thing, if certain guys step up, can be really good. Me and you've had this conversation.
You guys loved us. You loved us after opening day.
Absolutely. Well, who wouldn't? Absolutely. But I'm saying
nine runs will do that, man.
Well, yeah, then
I'll love 9 runs or eight runs any day.
Absolutely. But then you run into somebody like Blanco that you've never faced before that would show you something that it looked to me like anyway that you guys were just not prepared for, right? The changeup. He just had it going, right? You guys had a decent game plan going in, and it's the self-correcting in game. It just seems like, for whatever reason, 1 through 9 just don't want to buy into that. Either I don't want to say they can't because that's a strong word. It just seems like they sort of have their game plan, and no matter what that pitcher's doing to us, we're going to stick with that game plan. Am I overthinking that, or is this a thing you guys have been talking about? Sort of try and self-correct and adjust a little quicker that would help us score more runs?
Kev, good question. You've been in the dugout. I mean, for one, Blanco, not a lot of starts, right? 8th start in his career. Basically tripled his changeup usage in his first outing. It was up in spring training for him, albeit small sample size, but basically tripled his changeup usage in that game against us. Now, do you have to adjust to it? Yeah, sure. Were we talking about it in the dugout? Were they talking about it with Donnie? Yeah, sure. I mean, then you start sitting on it, and he's taking that thing from strike to ball pretty well. And he was living on the outside edge with his slider. I mean, I thought our game plan, going into it, you feel comfortable with it, and then you get no hit, and you go, okay, what were we doing? Part of it is he was locating well. Part of it is we probably could have sat, soft a little bit more instead of fastballs, but the in-game adjustment, yeah, that's what every team is trying to do, and that's what every hitting coach and every player is talking about. Every single inning when they're sitting there looking at iPads, they're not checking out their swing, they're looking at pitches, they're doing their homework. So we were definitely prepared, and then the next step is you got to make adjustments as you go, and sometimes that's hard to do with a guy you're not familiar with, but pitchers change all the time. Pitchers have new pitches. Pitchers use their stuff differently. They up or down or decrease their usage year to year. And he had it going that night. But we're going to see the same thing with Javier tonight, I think. So it's going to be interesting to see how he attacks us based off of Blanco's game.
Yeah.
And you got to be ready to pivot. You know what I mean? I think one of the things we're most excited about this year is having, voices, not only players, but Donnie and Hunter and G and Matt Haig being on top of that, you know what I mean? And helping the guys adjust when you need to. So again, it's good pitching we faced early. And, by no means do we think that these guys are going to be stubborn enough and say, this is my plan and I'm not going to budge no matter what. These guys are good and these guys are going to adjust.
John, sometimes some people would say, and I'm in this camp, I would say this too, why not move around the batter's box? It's a simple approach, right? It's a simple game plan. If I'm right-handed, and that's sort of the way they attack the first 4 or 5 guys in your lineup is the slider away, right? It's take the sting out of the bat. They're hearing and listening to the same thing that you guys are preaching. Only swing at what you can do damage on, okay? Well, you saw that first game against the Rays, right? It was quadrants. And then after that, it was everything away. Take the sting out of the bat. Sort of help me understand why guys nowadays don't want to move around the batter's box. Me and you did when we played because we had to. We stunk offensively. It was giving us a chance, right? That's what you do. That's the frustrating part that I don't understand is why let the dude do the same thing over and over again? Catch it before it breaks is the old saying. I just wonder why that is. That's a simple thing that we just don't see a lot of.
Yeah, well, what's funny is guys on our team do that. You know what I mean? It may not be noticeable on the broadcast. But just to name a couple, like Barsh did that in Tampa with some righties throwing those cutters in. There's some guys that do it that may not be noticeable. Now, within that, I mean, here's the thing. You're so accustomed to hitting in a spot in the box, and you're so accustomed to being comfortable in a certain spot.
Yeah.
You could say one of two things. You could say, he's pitching me away, so I'm going to stand on top of the plate and make that thing middle. Or you can say, I'm going to stick with my approach, not budget that thing until this dude does make a mistake and come into the zone that I can hit it. So, I mean, it's give or take, you know what I mean? But guys do move around, and it's something that we talk about. And again, it's not an easy thing to do.
No. Right.
It's like telling hey, do something drastically different than what you're already really good at and go have immediate results. It's hard to do. That's what we talk about, getting guys in certain areas. And some nights, man, the pitchers are going to beat you.
Yeah.
They're going to have their stuff and they're going to beat you. And that's all right. You know what I mean? You don't want it to be an everyday occurrence, but you don't want dudes to do something that they're not comfortable with.
Good answer.
Last question for us, John. We had Ryan Dempster on yesterday, and we were talking about guys utilizing new pitches or pitches they were working on in spring training. We were talking about Blanco, and you mentioned it tripled up on his changeup usage. Philosophically, how do you like to see a pitcher take a new pitch or whatever? I mean, we've talked about the cutter with Berríos and the split-fingered pitch with Pearson. Take it from the bullpen in spring training into a game. What is your philosophy about that?
Well, for one, I mean, bullpen and spring training, you're working on the actual shape of it, the actual, what is it going to do? How is it going to move? And then from there in the season, you're just pairing it up with your stuff. Guys that we have, they got a pretty, well-traveled career or background, and guys know how they're going to be attacked. So I think it's understanding what that pitch is going to do, and then how is it going to help me navigate in a bat or put a guy away with my other stuff, really. You don't want to fall in love with things. We don't want Kevin Gausman throwing 20 sliders a game. You know what I mean? We don't want Jose throwing 30 cutters a game because his other stuff is so good. So it's really having an understanding of what it does, and then how is it going to help you navigate in a bat or a lineup, and as the season goes.
John, we are going to let you run. You've been gracious with your time as always. Thanks for this, and go get him tonight.
Good luck.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, guys. Good catching up with you.
See you soon. Thanks, buddy.
John Schneider, manager of the Blue Jays, and again, 8:10 is the first pitch tonight.